The lights are off. The children are asleep. Monsters have entered the mansion, trying to wake them up. However, their parents are alerted to the monster's presence and are trying to find and catch these naughty monsters. The monster players each have an individual minimap of the mansion to track their movement. When the parents move, their movement is visible to all players. Monster Mansion is a light and casual hidden movement game of hide and seek that plays 2 to 7 players in about 45 minutes for ages 8 and up. In this video, I'll go through the setup and how to play Monster Mansion. At the end, I'll go through the advanced version, which adds special player powers. A monster player wins when they have woken up at least 4 out of 5 children in the mansion. The parent player wins if they can catch a number of monsters listed in the rulebook. Please note, the same monster can be caught multiple times. Decide one player who will play the parents, and the other players will play as a monster. Give each monster player a monster character. Give the parent player the parents, the dog, and the green markers. In a 2-player game, the parent player only gets 1 parent. Set up the game board on the table. The parent player should sit on the kitchen side of the board, with the monster player sitting around the entrance side of the board for ease of viewing. Put the monster caught counter on 0 on the monster caught track. Put the monster movement deck, the house deck, the bedroom deck, and the parent movement deck on the board where marked. Put the noise dice and the noise markers next to the board. Give each monster player a mini-map of the mansion and a dry erase pen. Flip 5 cards on the bedroom deck and assign 1 child onto the bed of the corresponding bedroom on the board. The monster players need to mark down the location of the children on the minimap. The bedroom cards then form a discard pile next to the bedroom deck. The parent player then put the parents on any space on the board. However, this cannot be the same space as another parent, and also cannot be in a red space, which is like a cupboard or hiding space. The monster players then need to mark down the location of the parents on the minimap. Deal each monster player a card from their house deck. The red hiding space of that room is where the monster will start from. Mark an X on the minimap. And then put the card face down on a discard pile next to the house deck. Deal each monster player 3 cards from the monster movement deck. And then deal the parent player 4 cards from the parent movement deck. In a 2-player game, the parent player only gets 3 cards. So that is the setup of Monster Mansion. Each round consists of 3 phases. The monster phase, which is played by the monster players. The parent phase, which is played by the parent player. And then the cleanup phase. In the monster phase, all the monster players play simultaneously by choosing one of their 3 movement cards to play. The number on the card indicates the maximum number of spaces the monster can move on the minimap. Dot the movement on the minimap. The monster can move vertical or horizontal. However, the monster cannot move diagonal or go through walls, which are these solid black lines. Doors and windows can be entered in or out, and when the monster has finished movement, you mark an X on the final position. Of course, the objective of the monsters is to wake up the children, and to wake up a child, the monster just have to land on the space where the child is sleeping, and the child is woken up. The monster player then lets out a scream, "Ah!" and flip the child to the wake side. The monster player then tick the box for that child on the back of the minimap. The monster player can then continue movement if there are movement remaining. A child woken up this round can still be woken up by another monster. The subsequent monster players also let out a scream and have to let the parent player know which child has been woken up. Then tick the box to that child on the back of the minimap. During movement, the monster player has to be aware of the position of the parent and the torchlight. First of all, the monster cannot be on the same space as the parent, otherwise it will be caught. However, if the monster wants to cross the path of the torchlight, that is possible. Simply put the monster on the board where it is seen by the torchlight, and then lift it off the board vertically without showing the direction of movement. Torchlight will be explained further down the video. The portal at the front door can only be used by monsters. When a monster is on the space of the portal, they have the choice to teleport. Simply draw a card from the house deck, and whoosh, the monster reappears in the hiding space of that room. Mark an X on the minimap, and if the monster has movement remaining, they can continue movement. After all the monster players have moved and marked their final position on the minimap, each monster player has to roll the colored noise dice shown on their movement card. The monster players will roll the noise dice one at a time, and there are 4 different results that can happen on the noise dice, and I'll go through each one now. If the monster player rolled a green result, then they have made no noise. If the monster player rolled a yellow result, then they have to tell the parent player which color quadrant they're in. And in this example, the monster is in the green quadrant. If the monster has rolled a blue result, then firstly, they have to tell the parent player which color quadrant they're in, and also put 1 noise marker on the board on the vertical or the horizontal axis of that quadrant, covering their final position. For example, they can put the noise marker here because their final position is here. If the monster has rolled a red result, then they have to tell the parent player which color quadrant they're in and put 2 noise markers on the board, 1 on the horizontal and 1 on the vertical axis of the board, covering the final position. The parent player can use the green markers to help mark out the possible location of the monster. Once all the monster players have rolled the noise dice, then the game moves on to the parent phase, which is played by the parent player. The parent phase begins with the dog. Flip 5 cards from the house deck and place the dog into one of these rooms on the board. If there are any monster in the room, including the red hiding spot, then the monster player have to make a woof noise. Woof! Please note, the dog is only a detection tool and does not catch any monsters. The parent player then moves the parents one at a time by using a movement card in their hand. For example, the daddy can go first with a 10 movement card. That means the daddy can move up to 10 spaces on the board. And once the first parent has completed movement, the second parent will move by using another movement card. Movement is the same as the monsters. The parent can move vertical or horizontal. However, the parent cannot move diagonal or go through walls, which are these solid black lines. Please remember, the torchlight is always shining in a direction of movement. So, for example, the daddy will go straight and then turn, like this. The parent can also rotate on the spot without moving off the space. For example, the daddy wants to rotate the torch this way. He simply turn like this and use up 1 movement point. The torchlight provides vision for the parent And if the torchlight ever shines onto a space with a monster and is not impeded by a wall, then the monster player has to put their monster character onto the board. A monster in a red hiding space is not seen by the torchlight, even if the torchlight is shining into it. The only way for a parent to find a monster in a red hiding space is to perform a search. Also, a parent cannot enter a red hiding space unless it has been searched immediately prior. To perform a search, the parent has to be next to the red hiding space and use up 2 movement points. If there are any monsters in the red hiding space, then the monster player will have to put their monster character onto the board. This power symbol is a light switch, and when a parent is on the light switch, they have the choice to turn on the light. That means any monster in the room, apart from those in the red hiding space, has to put their monster character onto the board. When the parent is not on the light switch, the light is switched off. To catch a monster, the parent just have to land on the same space where the monster is located. So in this example, the mummy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to search. The monster player put the monster character onto the board, and 10. The monster is caught. Then move the monster caught counter down 1. The monster who is caught has to rub out one of the children that they have woken up previously. They'll draw a card from the house deck and will start the next round in the hiding space of that room. Put an X on the minimap. And after both parents have moved, we move on to the cleanup phase. In the cleanup phase, we first check for winners. If there's a winner or winners, then that's the end of the game. If there are no winners, then remove the dog and the noise markers off the board, as well as the green markers. The movement card used are placed in a discard pile, and the parent player will get 2 new parent movement cards. The monster players will each get 1 new monster movement card to replace the one they have used. The children woken up this round will move to a new bedroom. Flip a card from the bedroom deck and move that child to the new bed. Please note, the child cannot move to a bed where another child has been woken up this round. The monster players can rub out their previous starting location and also the dots they have made for their movement, and leaving just their newest final position. The previous location of the parent can also be rubbed out too. Monster players should note down the new location of any children that has moved this round, as well as the new location of the parent. A new round will begin, and you're now ready to play the base game. The advanced game adds special player powers. Put the parent special ability deck on the board and give the parent player 1 special ability card. Then give each monster 1 monster special ability card. All the special abilities are 1 use only, and once used, cross off the box on the minimap. As for the parent, once used, the special ability is put into a discard pile. For the parent player, if they want to draw another special ability card, they just have to play a movement card for a parent that says collect a special ability card. For a monster player to reuse their special ability, they just have to play 3 white dice movement cards. And once you play 1 card, you can tick a box, and once all 3 boxes have been ticked, you can reuse your special ability. So this is how you play the advanced version of Monster Mansion. I hope you have as much fun as I do when playing Monster Mansion with your family and friends. Thank you for listening.